Good morning, afternoon, evening, or night. We're bringing you here in Cerebral Delight. And today, I'm going to be talking about how there's just a lot of things you don't expect in life, and you get dealt a different card. When I was younger, I always aspired to be just something magnificent, as do we all, I'm pretty sure. And it was like something that fucked with me, where I was just like always distracted and preoccupied by what I considered like higher values, and that was like my family and connections to people. And I had really applied myself in every way that I could to get through the system as it is today. And I worked as a chef, or really a cook. Then I worked as a chef. Then I worked as a kitchen manager. And I went up the line all the way until I was project lead chef at a commissary kitchen, doing work for the Department for the Aging in New York City, serving millions of underprivileged New Yorkers who were looking to get affordable meals and the like from a dispensary, in other words. And it was a quest that I was on, and it preoccupied me so much that I had ignored the health issues that I was experiencing. And COVID really made me take a stand with that, and I couldn't compromise my values anymore. There was basically a line I had to draw, and I wouldn't let it deter me from basically ending up in a grave. Because while I was working in these kitchens, I mean, not only was it cutthroat and absolutely barbaric in terms of what they expect from you and what they give to you. I'm sure there are many, many, many people who can speak to the fact that they've worked their ass off and there's very little return for that. And even things that you might sign up for in the beginning that they promise to you, you don't get. Like, maybe, they wanted to do a probationary period and then promote you to a certain point, or do an evaluation, or give you a raise, whatever it might be, more responsibility to further access, higher rungs of the corporate ladder. And it's just something that you cannot get too preoccupied with that in life, because there's just more to it that you're going to look back and say, why was I not more concerned about the things going on in my own life? I always felt like if there's a true need, I can always fulfill that. When I'm backed into a corner, that's where I do my best work. And, it's strange to be able to operate like that. And that's what brings out the best in you. And I kind of tailored my whole life to kind of like forcing myself into very difficult situations that I felt, so long as I overcame them, I would be in the right. I would be prospering. And in that journey, I found that there's so much that you can, even when you fail, when you don't do what you had expected, or you're wrong, or you just don't fulfill that objective you had set out to accomplish. There is so much more that you can look to and learn from that, as opposed to when you do things right. When you do things right, especially, like, let's say, I'm sorry, I have hiccups. When there's something in your life that everything is like going right, you tend to like get very just enamored with everything that's going on, and you have a difficult time really seeing any other perspective other than your own, and kind of the glory that you're in. But when you fail, it's very much the opposite, and that There can be pure disappointment, and you could just accept that for what it is, but there's so much more to read through between the lines about what you could do better. And a lot of the time, what is not working out for you, the things that you shouldn't really pay too much mind to, because it's just maybe not something you're good at, it's not something you're interested in, and it's not speaking to you. And I've said many times, you should focus on the doors that are open. And when you really try to force things in life, it brings a lot of hardship unnecessarily that you could avoid, and they are challenges. So when they do come your way, don't shy away from them. It's always a good thing to accept the difficult and kind of uncomfortable things in life if you feel like they'll bring you some fulfillment, and there's something you can learn from that, and maybe it'll bring you closer toward what you're looking to achieve. But really, I found out that I had multiple sclerosis, and a lot of the things earlier on in my life started to make a lot of sense. And I don't know what damage specifically was done to my brain and my spinal cord. I know that there are physical effects that I have, physical defects that I have, and I'm in inhabilitated. I'm hindered, let's say physically, to do a lot of things, but also cognitively. I wonder, what exactly happened, and I'm in the process of discovering that. And it's something that it's hard to say that I couldn't have been, you know, affected mentally by this, because like the way that I'm all over the place. I've always been like this since I'm young. I get barely any sleep. Like I I get anywhere from 2 to 5 hours of sleep for the past 15 years. And I mean, when I was younger, I was like, I was out. I was out. You couldn't wake me up. But when I was, like a teenager, all of that stuff, it was just like I stayed up 48 hours, 72 hours, and I never napped until recently started napping. But there's just like a strange anomaly that I think is occurring with humanity. When I'm younger, even now, I consider myself like very empathetic toward other humans. There's things that like I pick up on without even having to speak to people. And it's so strange with autism and so many of these newer mental afflictions and nervous disorders and diseases. Some of them, are just truly debilitating, but I seriously like to think that there's something to what I have. I've always been limited physically. I haven't been able to possess all of the physical achievements that I wanted to do in my life. There's always been a limitation. Like my knee's been buckling since I'm, 14 years old. There's been unpredictable things. I had like asthma, like a strange form of, they called it acute asthma, acute cold induced acute asthma. And it was like it only happened once in my life, but it put me in the hospital. So there's a lot of these strange things, and I used to be like deathly ill from like 6 to 11 years old. Every winter, I would just get deathly ill. And I don't know if it had to do with the flu shot. I have no idea. That could have been in the summer. I don't know when that stuff went on, but anyway, the point is that like I used to get deathly ill, so I don't know if multiple sclerosis is with you from birth. They say it's not genetic at all, not hereditary, but just something. I mean, I hit my head like 3, 4 times pretty severely throughout my life, that I never went to the doctor. Everything seemed fine with that, and there wasn't any problems that I noticed, except for now that I look it up, there's like, residual symptoms that there could be, and like depression, these types of things. And it's just like MS, where so many of the symptoms that might tell you that you have it, or early indications, they're like things that you would so easily dismiss, like your knee buckling or a tingling sensation in your hands that lasts for, a day or two. Or for my case, one day it just never went away. My whole left arm, from the elbow down to my fingertips, is just numb. And it's been that way for over a year now. So it's crazy, that there's things that we learn to deal with. And I feel like a lot of those resources that my body would have put into thinking about a physical pathway through life, somehow I knew that there was something wrong with me. And it was like it always propelled me in a way to use my brain. And unfortunately, that there's a lot of things that come up in life. So we could always do things better. But the point is that you really gotta just do what works for you, and stop trying to like fit into these puzzle pieces, because there's too many of those people already out there, and we need more people who are individual thinkers and really do their own thing, because those are the people who challenge. They challenge the stale state of humanity, and they bring us forward. They really force us to confront a lot of the issues that are going on, that we're just like, all right, well, it works, yeah, we'll get through another day. No, we challenge that. We say that's not good enough. We need to do better. And there's so many of us out there who are doing what we can every day to help this world, but there's so much working against us, especially right now. Real good people need to step up. They need to speak out. They need to stand for the things that are right in this world. And you need to put an end to that shit, in your local area, because, unless there's just a movement, something that you can get attached to at a bigger level, the most you're going to be able to do is everything around you, speak to the people that you know, continue to connect, reach out, and, stop the animosity toward like other human beings, because really the people who are like governing stuff, and the people who are overseeing like the production, the means of society, it's like almost everything that people have been getting at for the past 30 years, even with the Marxist ideals, there's things to pick apart from all of this stuff that are beneficial. There's a sense of community, but it's like it's not through people telling us what to do. We want leaders, but we do not want to be ruled over. It's a different thing. We want to be led. We don't want to be ruled. It's just a simple fact of humanity. There's those of us that like enjoy subjugation. And it's like, all right, in a free society, you can go make your cult and like go live that weird, strange life you want to live. But guess what? When you're living in like some crazy dictatorship, authoritarian, uh, you know, government or society, it's gonna just totally prevent you from creating all those different and allowing all those different as, a, aspects, facets of the human race that really make us unique, and they bring out all the best in us, because it's just like, you're going to let those people who are going to do those amazing things come to the top. And unfortunately, there'll be bad things that come from it, but it's like, at this point, man, humanity, we're fucking used to that. The whole of our history is just riddled with horrific shit. that at this point in time, we're doing all right. It's no excuse for the bad shape of all the shitty things going on, but it's exceptional compared to what people have had to go through our known history. You know, I'm sure there's a lot of other shit going on that we don't know about. There's isn't it in Tibet or something? There's like an archive of all of this text. Like, it is, holy crap. It has thousands and thousands of ancient texts that need to be translated. And I think in 2022 they actually uploaded them online. I don't know where you can see them. I just had read about this. But I mean, it's crazy what we know about and how fucked up things have been. And now things are so good. But you know what I mean? Soft times create hard soft people create hard times. And it's just, we had those hard people. We had the hard times make some really great people. And now it's like people are too selfish. It's like there's let's just differentiate between like overindulgement and respecting, at least in the public sense. Do what you want in private life, but in the public sense, that's where sometimes like religious structure makes sense. Because when you think of how many people are out there that if there wasn't some type of moral code, they would just like be batshit nuts, like, oh yeah, well there's nothing restricting me, of course I could do this. It's like sometimes, you have to believe in the best, but at the same time, you have to realize that like there's a structure that we need to have. It's like people who don't want to believe in any type of spirituality. If you don't accept spirituality in any form, it's going to take you because you think that you don't need that. And therefore, it's going to replace itself with like tribalism, or like you're going to be in a cult. You're going to end up, idolizing somebody as a god, like these people who worship celebrities and stuff. It's crazy. It's like these people are humans like you and me, and yeah, they're in your face all the time, but forget about it. Some of these people can barely even act. They have to do like 50 takes just to be able to get that shot that you're seeing. So forget about it, and as humans, we're all actors. Like, life every day is an act. There's things that, you have to put on, whether you want to admit it or not. We're all actors, and it's indirect, it's actively sometimes, but you know anyway, to think these people like have some type of extra jurisdiction or justification to tell you about anything in life is crazy. Like, just watch them. They're there for your entertainment. These are the jesters of society there to put on, a show for you. And that's about it. Like, we're taking things too far. And this is why it's like a small part of why things just get blown out of proportion and why these people just get so full of themselves and everything. It's like there's nobody bringing them back down to earth. The people around them are making so much money. I worked in the movie industry, and it's like there is so much excess, it's out of this fucking world. They'll pay tens of thousands of dollars to have a truck transport bags of leaves from upstate New York to a movie set in Brooklyn. It's like, holy shit. And they'll buy all of these things like shampoo, conditioner, the food trucks that they order to come and cater to everything. And oh my god, the amount of equipment that they use, shit from Home Depot. They keep the economy going, but everybody is overpaid. It's fucking ridiculous, the excess going on, and they're the ones telling you to fucking recycle and everything like that. Meanwhile, it's such a hypocritical state that we're in, where everybody who's telling us what to do are the people who are fucking the reason why all this stuff is going wrong. It's like water usage. It's like California, they go after the people who are watering their lawns. Meanwhile, the government, the public institutions, the private enterprise uses a lot, but they pay for it. They pay for it. So at least whatever corruption's going on with the private enterprise, they're still paying for this shit. The government, there's like a ridiculous level of corruption going on with that you're never going to know. They're not accountable. A private company, all you got to do is stop fucking buying their products or go boycott them outside their business. When it comes to the government, you could see what's happening right now. This shit, they don't stop unless you get outside and start threatening shit, and like you just like, dude, you're gonna have to change things, otherwise we're gonna be out here with signs, and this is not gonna end, you know? It's like we have to exercise our rights, and we really got to get to it with making it known that this is just not gonna be something that we stand for. It's like the world over, people are fed up with this shit going on, and it's like they could do whatever the fuck they want. But at the end of the, if nobody's playing the game, then what the fuck can they really do? Like, we can grow our own food. We can figure this out. We just have to stop being desperate. That's what faith is all about. I mean, I've always been agnostic, but have faith, man. Put yourself in just in the worldwide wonder, you know? Forget about the World Wide Web. Put it in the worldwide wonder of everything that is, and realize that people have gotten by with much less. We have so much. We'll be all right. We'll figure it out. As long as we can protect ourselves, defend ourselves, we'll get through this shit 100%. So, you know, make sure you're prepared. Have everything ready to go. And may God be with you. God bless everybody. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, pass this on to a fellow member, comment, let me know your thoughts, share. Love yous all. Take care.